Paul trusted God to sustain him. Paul trusted God to sustain him. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Context is one of Paul's trials here. And what's happening here is Paul's just frustrated because this church here, they're listening to super apostles, other so-called apostles that are speaking things to them that weren't true and manipulating them, confusing them. And Paul goes on to say in verse 22, are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I know I sound like a madman, but I have served him far more. I have worked harder, been put in prison more often, been whipped times without number, and faced death again and again. 5 different times the Jewish leaders gave me 39 lashes. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. Once I spent a whole night and day adrift at sea. I have traveled on many long journeys. I have faced danger from rivers and from robbers. I have faced danger from my own people, the Jews, as well as from the Gentiles. I have faced danger in the cities, in the deserts, and on the seas. And I have faced danger from men who claim to be believers but are not. I have worked hard and long, enduring many sleepless nights. I have been hungry and thirsty and have often gone without food. I have shivered in the cold without enough clothing to keep me warm. Then besides all this, I have the daily burden of my concern for all the churches. Who is weak without my feeling that weakness? Who is led astray, and I do not burn with anger. He just got done saying, I'm not going to be foolish and boast like these guys do, but if I were to, here's my life. Have any of them did this? To hear of what Paul went through, and yet he continues to go and trust God. Here's what we hear about that is he wasn't trusting in comfort, clearly. It's easy for us to, right? We live in America. It wasn't about his reputation or personal safety. There was no prayer for keep me safe. It was only in God's sustaining grace. So we learn from that passage that every hardship became an opportunity for Paul to prove that God was enough. Every single thing that he went through, it was a little lesson every single time as a reminder to Paul, is I am enough, Paul. I can sustain you in all this. So what I want you to understand is no matter how difficult life could get, when you can't, God can. That's the trust. Is I might not know how to get through this, but God can. I don't know if the circumstance could change by my own might, but you know what? God can. And that's the attitude, that's the posture we must take if we're going to be all in with Christ.